tip over this year, U12, right, we're in PBs.
All right, ladies, gentlemen,
Decision, isn't it? Yeah.
let's open
gonna
it
see
up
how they
with Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have our August meeting, which sometimes we never have during the summer, but we thought we should have it because we have some other things we got to go over. I think it's interesting. Oh, we got one. Got another one. Okay.
It's from the senator.
Yeah, correct. Did everybody get the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Good.
Okay. Vote. Shall we vote on the approval of the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Deputy Supervisor Zemansky, committee reports on the fly car and about the meeting we had during the month of July.
I will go do that first before I get the statistics. We met on July 31st with two of the young mothers that were in our last public meeting, Katie and Ashley. And we had a very, very, very good meeting. The chief of Pelham Fire Department was here, as well as Lieutenant Bellantoni, to go into depth on what the numbers really mean that I report, what the numbers may look like in the new scenario with Eastchester, what they would like to see and what they didn't understand. And I thought it was a really, really great meeting. They left very satisfied that we explained what we had, and also really, really spent a good amount of time on what we would like to see in the future, and the commitment that Eastchester has to doing that through social media, Instagram pages, Facebook pages, as well as them coming to the community and explaining everything even before we start. So we are not planning to meet again, but they know that they can ask Dan and I any question that they have.
And they also agreed to support the initiative as much as possible, and if anything we want them to do, they will do it. It was a great meeting, actually.
Yeah, we did talk about fundraising, so that might be something that they might be interested in. They asked us if we had talked to the Junior League. We said no, but they were very involved with Julianne's Park. So through their connections, I think the word will get out. So it was a great meeting. Glad we had it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I wasn't at that meeting, but in earlier meetings, Katie's talked about the numbers and sort of more clarification. Is that gonna be a part of like the new, that'll be part of the new agreement with Eastchester?
What exactly?
I mean, I know we're not talking about details, but that's the plan,
Yes.
is to have more clarity
Yes.
on those.
And explanations
And-
when
okay.
there's a bump in the road and why it happened.
Okay.
And a lot of back and forth, more open communication back
Okay.
and forth. So, yes.
And more notification when there is one, so we're not
Yes,
answering
right, so we would know
questions
ahead
up
of
against
time
the
what,
wall.
yes,
Yeah.
what happened. I don't foresee that happening a lot with them,
I
it's
know.
just a whole different philosophy.
Exactly.
But if it did, then it would be explained to us.
Right. Well, there are always gonna, God
Right, there
forbid,
is
not,
always-
but,
correct.
there's
Correct.
pile-ups and things like
Right.
that.
But I really appreciated their time coming in and appreciated the chief and Lieutenant Bellantoni, because they really, the stuff that we could not explain from 60 control, they explained, and how hard it is to match the two numbers when you're getting them from two different sources.
Right, it was sort of apples to oranges.
There's a lot of commonality, but it's really in the backup ambulance that's very confusing, and what becomes mutual aid and what doesn't become mutual aid, because of the way Empress, when they give it to mutual aid, they take it out of their stats. And it really should be combined in the total number, so that's something that we're gonna talk to Eastchester about too.
Which is why the number was much lower than we all thought it was gonna be.
for the backup ambulance, because
Right,
they only
yes.
talk about their backup for their own units, not for the mutual aid.
Okay, yeah,
That's,
got
That
That's the
explains a
difference.
That
lot.
explains a lot.
yeah, it did explain a lot. Okay, so I now get a report from Chief Benquith that I can match against Empress's numbers, and they're very, very close. But what Chief Benquith is able to give me from 60 Control is who responded to the mutual aid and how many in total there were out of the total number. So, which I wasn't getting from Empress.
And you'll get the time that it took for that.
He doesn't have that
Okay.
yet, but that will be something that we will expect Eastchester to provide to us.
Great, thank you.
We don't have that access to 60 Control, or else I'd go get the numbers myself.
Right.
We just don't. And the report that he showed us, like, was this thick, and you have to go one by one
Oh,
by,
wow.
it was very tedious. So,
Right, it doesn't break down.
yeah. Okay, for month of July, according to Empress, for their backup units, is 8 minutes and 51 seconds. There was also a long response on the report, which is an incident that happened on July 3rd, where there was some confusion by the person they assigned to be in our fly car that day. It was a new employee and was not that familiar with Pelham, and caused a lot of delays in the fly car response that day. So, we did talk about the fact that anybody that they assign to the Pelham fly car has to be familiar with the way Pelham operates, as well as what the two villages look like and how you go across Fifth Avenue to Wolf's Lane, etc. So there was a lot of knowledge gap there that is not gonna happen again.
Well, actually, in that particular day, the ambulances were getting there quicker than the fly car.
Correct, the ambulance got there quicker than the fly car that day. So, in the village of Pelham, there were 40 calls. In the village of Pelham Manor, 37. 1 call on I-95 and 8 calls on the Hutchison River Parkway. The fly car response, 82% of the time it was there in 7 minutes and under, and 65% of the time 6 minutes and under. And I believe that's kind of where we're shooting with, that's the standard with Eastchester. That may change a little, it may become a little shorter. It depends on where the unit is gonna be placed, which we haven't worked out all of those things. So, Chief Benquith said, out of the total number of those calls, 20 mutual aid ambulances were provided by Westchester EMS, 2 by Eastchester, 2 by New Rochelle, and 2 by Mount Vernon. That's a big number. So that's 20, 22, 26, 29 out of the total calls were mutual aid. That's a big percentage. So it just kind of validates the need for change and to be very specific as we move forward in our contract negotiations with Eastchester. Any questions? Dan, you want to add something?
I want to add that the email I sent you today, they're going to be paving Boston Post Road. And that may cause some disruptions, essentially with the fly car as well. So Ray and I gave Pelham Manor the email addresses of the people in Empress so they can know what's happening, when it's happening on Boston Post Road. But it's getting nearer to being repaved, the whole, up through New Rochelle.
Hopefully it's like in sections, you know.
Well, and that's why Empress needs to
Right.
know when.
Exactly.
And where?
That's all I have.
Okay.
Any questions for Deputy Supervisor? Okay.
I don't know if I did report that we did speak to Empress, Dan and I personally, the day after our last board meeting.
To
Just
inform
to
them.
inform them of what was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think I reported it, just.
No, I think you sent out an email. on
Yeah, I
it,
did,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
He was upset. But we kind of kept the door open just in case. Okay, Councilwoman McLaughlin on recreation.
All the camps are completed. A very, very successful year. Record numbers in just about every camp held. Week-long sports clinics continue. People can still register their children for the remaining weeks. We are already looking to the fall season, of course. Soccer registration is already open. After-school activities are being finalized this week, and registration should be available next week. For more information and for registration, please go to the website, pelhamrecreation.com. The senior band was very active in July, 54 round trips. That's about 3 a day, if you think about it.
Wow.
You know, they're not going on the weekends, so that's a lot.
Do you know who is driving the senior van?
Nick,
Who?
Nick Florio.
I'm not sure that's correct.
Oh,
Do you know?
he was,
Okay, what is Mark doing?
Is he driving the handicap kit?
He's doing that to camp and back, but what does he do during the day?
I don't think he's here all the time.
no, I think Mark only filled in when Nick was on vacation.
Isn't Mark being paid?
Yeah, but it's
Could,
not.
could you find out for me?
Yes.
Please, thank you. I just want to know who's responsible for that.
I think she may be right.
Hmm?
I think she's right.
Okay, all right, all right. Thank you.
And Mark has a daughter, right?
Right,
Yes, so yes, that was all just during the, and he also drove the van to the Southeast
right, Southeast
Consortium
Consortium,
camp.
yeah.
But again, that was only for 1 week.
I didn't realize that, I thought it was for the whole summer.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
or it might have been 2 weeks, but
Okay,
it just
all
while Nick was on vacation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. The seniors there will be transportation for seniors to a countywide dance party provided, that will be at Glen Island. And that'll be on August 23rd. They can contact Callie in the recreation office for more information on that, or the senior club.
It's a dance-a-thon.
I don't know.
Yes,
But all I
it's
know is I'm
countywide,
eligible, I'm eligible to
so
go. Should I
fun.
go on the bus? And
Of
go
course
to-
you
What do
can.
want?
They still have a
I'm
upcoming,
at 55 and over.
they have one more trip coming up, right? Don't they have one of the casinos this
I think
week?
that already
Oh,
happened
okay,
in July. That was the end of July. I think
Got
it was
it.
July 28th. Lots scheduled for
Yeah.
the winter, and the fall and the winter. Although this is not part of the town, just as an FYI, the bocce court on Wolf's Lane is being dedicated this evening to Pelham former resident Gerald Russello, who passed away in 2021. He was part of the league, the Bocce League, and a member of the Knights of Columbus, the organization who raised the funds for the court. So I just said I would
Thank you.
pay homage to him.
Any questions for Councilman McLaughlin? Councilwoman McLaughlin?
One quick question, when are the rec commission meetings? I feel like I asked you, do they have a set?
Yeah, it's the Monday after hours.
Okay,
So the second Monday, except when we meet on the
Right,
second,
right,
and
right.
then who knows when it'll happen.
got it, okay, thank you.
It happened a few, I remember it
Yes.
happening quite a few
It
times.
happened in July,
Yeah.
and then this month, they don't have one.
And I can confirm my daughter thoroughly enjoyed the Pelham Recreation Day
Oh,
Camp
good, good, good.
experience.
Great.
So much fun, yeah. Lots of
So
good
good.
trips, really fun.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of great
You did a
trips
great
this
job.
year, a lot of activities. They went to see movies, they went
They go all the way up to the water park.
water park,
It's
yeah,
amazing.
it's a lot of
Oh, they
fun.
do?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they went to a Mets game.
That
Yep.
is so great. Yeah.
Going to a Mets game?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Not this year, not this year, it isn't.
I'm a baseball fan in general.
Saturday's game was rough.
Actually, Kristen, there will be a trip to Atlantic City on August 16th.
The 16th,
August
yeah, I
16th.
think I did,
So
had read
that's
that, yeah.
Wednesday.
So there is
yeah,
one more.
Yeah,
Wednesday. And they're gonna get,
maybe I saw that in the minutes, that's what's rolling in my head, yeah,
Yes.
they're
okay.
gonna get $20 worth of chips.
Chips,
Give
oh,
'em a good
so they need a chaperone?
Any questions for Councilwoman McLaughlin? Okay. Councilwoman Burke.
So my legal court update is gonna be very short. So the courts are closed for 2 weeks for vacation. And they're still currently interviewing for the court clerk position.
Assistant, no?
No,
Oh, the court clerk, you're right,
no.
you're right.
Right?
So
It's the
confusing.
regular
Right,
court
right,
clerk.
right, right.
But there's a lot of confusion around it, but it is the court
Right.
clerk position. And then I can do my reports quickly. So for the receiver of taxes for the month of July 2023, town county taxes received were $23,092.80. Penalties and interest received were $1,324.08. Liens were received $8,471.56. Taxpayers agreement, $702.36. Miscellaneous, $534, for a total received of $34,124.80. And the judges' reports for the month of July 2023, Justice Gardner received an amount of $38,320, and for July of 2023, Justice Kagan received an amount of $23,205. And then I have a few items in new business.
And what?
In new business.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, Councilwoman Curtin on the library.
The library had 255 children participate in the summer reading program this year, which ends this Friday with a visit from the Pelicones ice cream truck. So just a great program. K-Day is coming up. I see our library director gave us all a bookmark as a reminder. This is great. September 16th, Saturday. So that's when everyone's encouraged to bring their incoming kindergartner, but I'm sure any kid of any age can come. No, it's just for kindergartners. Wow. Get your ID at the door, kids. 5 and that's it. But that's how the library registers a lot of kids that day for their library card, which is good. So it encourages them to come back to the library card. And this is the first year they're going to have a petting zoo. I don't know how they're going to keep the other kids away, but. Okay, good. Oh, okay, good. The Friends of the Library, okay, outsold. Novel night was sold out in 19 minutes. 900 tickets. And I don't know if you remember this, but at the last meeting, I was shilling for them. I was
Yeah.
like,
You said they go on sale at this
go,
time.
please.
July
I go,
26th.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were sold out in 19 minutes.
Wow.
I heard people were queued up with multiple screens, keyboards, devices.
Because they wanted to go to certain parties?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So there's only that much space at the after party at the athletic club. So that's it. So it's a great party. It's a great event, and it's a great fundraiser for our library. So that's it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. That's all I have in the library. I have something under old business.
Can I just say one thing I forgot to tell you?
Of course.
Which was great. Last week Senator Fernandez came to the library and did story time. She read at story time. It was great. She read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom and Don't Touch the Button. And then the week after that, Terry Clements came from the county, and at the end of the month, Amy Collins.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Wonderful.
nice.
How is that decided? How do you do that? Is it the board that asks you to do that? What are the qualifications to be part of story time?
Well, I was going to ask you soon.
Oh.
I'm just asking. Just,
Just people who are that are in government that aren't familiar with our building, and I wanted to get them familiar with it. And then also Amy Collins, been a big supporter.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
So
She
it's
said-
just, and do you reach out and ask? So if I wanted to get on your list, I would have to send you what do you call it?
A request?
Yeah, an RFP.
It's good though, because it gets those folks, elected officials, familiar with the library and the programming that they do, and then eventually, at some point in the future, if you turn around and say, can we please have a grant, they're like, oh yes, I'm familiar with your facility, and your library director is great.
Method to the madness.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, any questions for Councilwoman Curtin?
No?
Okay, it's my turn. Besides the meeting that we had with the POPs or MOPs, I'm sorry, about the
Katie and
EMS,
Ashley, I think, right?
we also had a meeting, Kristen and I. Do you want to talk about that now?
Sure.
Go ahead.
About the benchmarking
Yes.
report. So I mentioned at the last meeting that Tom White, who's on the Village Sustainability Board, working with Sam Vitarello, our controller, went through and was able to do benchmarking of our energy usage of all three of our buildings. And, you know, we saw the report and none of us sort of could make much sense of it. So he was kind enough to meet with us. I don't have the date written down. It was a couple of weeks ago, right? And,
It was a Friday,
yeah,
and I'll tell you why I remember that. Go ahead.
so I was there, Dan was there, Sam was there, and who else was there? Philip was there, sorry. And actually, Philip was really, really helpful and sort of
He was.
we talked through the different usage, and this building is very, very energy efficient. And Philip was able to give some context as to why, like the newer, I don't have all the details, but newer water
And air conditioning.
and air conditioning units,
boiler.
splits outside and all that. So, needless to say, we got a lot of really good information, and there's going to be continued discussions about, you know, sort of next steps on being more energy efficient, especially in some of the other buildings. And it's, you know, it's going to mean when our roofs are due to be, you know, fixed, that's when we'll have discussions about, you know, ways to, you know, be more efficient in those certain areas. Or when the windows are due to be upgraded, that's when we'll have a discussion about what's most energy efficient. So it was great, and a lot more discussions to happen. One of the other pieces we talked about is, I think Glover Field does not have LED lights.
It does not.
And I talked to someone on the Board of Ed who I know, and I believe that the Board of Ed is actually already looking into potentially getting LED lights at Glover Field, which would help us. We pay some of those utilities. So this is kick-starting a lot of discussions about how we can be energy efficient, save money, and also be environmentally friendly.
And the reason I know it was a Friday we met is because the next Friday I was playing golf, and we were only a threesome, and this fourth guy joined us. And I shook his hand, I looked at him, I said, I know this guy. Why do I know this guy? He was the guy we met with the Friday before. It was pretty funny.
It was great.
It
It
was pretty
was
funny.
great.
Okay. I have to sign a representation letter for PFK O'Connor Davies, which is a normal audit letter that once they do the audit, they acknowledge that they have fulfilled their responsibilities and we have fulfilled our responsibility, and there's a fair representation, so on and so forth. If anybody wants to read the letter, please take your time and read it, but I need to sign it, and I'm going to sign it, so.
Is this then approving?
No, all it is that they
Revenue.
used standard
Oh, okay.
procedures to assess your budget, et cetera, right? It's all that
And
language.
we do as well.
And we do as well. It's just acknowledging that
Okay.
between the two organizations.
And when do we need to approve
Approve
the
what?
the financials?
I mean, last year's,
Yeah, 2022.
the audit,
The audit.
I don't know if we approved the audit.
We haven't.
No,
We don't approve
I
it.
don't,
They
I don't
give us
believe
a
we approved the
report.
audit.
Well, we were given a draft. When does it go from draft to,
After they meet with the supervisor.
okay.
and that's what that is part of.
Okay,
So when this goes back to them, then
Then
they
you
sit
meet.
and make a meeting.
okay. And then you just approve that, or we all do?
I don't know if the board approves the,
You don't really approve it.
Okay,
You'll get a report, but there's no approval.
right, okay. Just asking for clarification.
that's one. Two, I did a, what do they call these, Tom?
Deposition.
Depositions. That now I gotta read to see that I did say what I
Oh my
said.
God, it's that many pages?
And then I gotta sign it and get it notarized. So this is the one on the person who slipped on the ice back in January of 2022. So I'll be reading that over the weekend.
The library has free notaries.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, another item that we dealt with was
This.
with Kristen and I, was a gentleman, oh, okay, let's stay on that one.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I probably should have went into it. I didn't know where you wanted to go. So going back to the benchmarking, so we've already done the benchmarking report, which is great, but we also need to have a resolution acknowledging that we're doing this benchmarking and that it's gonna be an annual process. And this is through NYSERDA and the clean energy communities. We're gonna be uploading our report in the coming weeks, and posting on our website so that anybody can see, all the data before them. And again, Sam already knows, what to be doing moving forward. So, and this is actually also leading to us, I think this might be the last step in us getting a grant, maybe our first $5,000 grant. I'm pretty sure that we're at that point. So once this is done, I'll hopefully communicate at the next board meeting that we're in line for a grant.
So Tom made a resolution for us last year in July, but we didn't have the
crazy.
August meeting,
Right.
so,
So we never did it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we never did it.
It
I
was
looked through the minutes
vaguely
too.
familiar to me.
So Tom's put together a resolution. Do you want to talk about it, Tom, at all?
It is quite long. I mean, how does?
Yeah,
you have
it's like honestly, it's like I can barely remember. I remember doing it, but I don't.
Do you have to
remember
read
the
that whole thing?
No.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
I read it, I mean.
No, I
that's
mean,
what
do you have to
Right.
read it aloud to the public,
I
the
don't
whole
think so.
resolution? Oh,
It's posted.
We can
Yeah,
post it on
it's on
It's
the
the
posted
website.
on the
Yeah.
website.
okay.
That's where I read it.
But it's basically just affirming what I talked about, that we're gonna be, and I can give you the dates, which might be helpful, that May 1st of every year is when we're gonna be submitting our reports to NYSERDA, the state, regarding our usage. And then by September 1st, we have to have it posted on our website. It's just to be transparent. So those are sort of the two key pieces here.
Do we have to vote to pass that resolution?
I
Yes.
think we do, yeah.
So I need a motion to pass the resolution regarding benchmarking.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Wait, I have
Aye.
a discussion.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yes.
I had one question. Should we have some sort of addendum or rider or something listing the buildings? Or do we not need those?
I'd be guessing. I'd have to look at it. I can't remember how it's defined.
Yeah.
Is it
It
percent?
says one's over 1,000 square feet.
I mean,
Right.
so I would say we don't have to. I mean, we can if we want, and I guess it could change. If we.
That's the beauty of not putting it in there,
Yeah.
not that I
Right.
foresee us
It's just
obtaining new
it's
buildings
basically-
or, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of a.
Okay, I was just asking for
it's
that.
this
Okay.
building next door, right?
And the library.
That library.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.
Okay, should we go to the next meeting you had? Circuit?
Yeah,
Go
we do
ahead.
that. Okay. So,
You two have been busy.
very, very busy. So, in the vein of sustainability, I've thought about, been thinking, I went to one of the sustainability roundtables a couple of months ago, and I was in the working group on transportation, you know, using bike lanes and electric cars and whatnot, and sort of in that working group, it came to my mind that I remember years ago, I was down in Florida, and they have this Circuit electric mobility van that is used, and it's used in a number of cities, and it's actually used in New Rochelle, and it's in sort of, it helps a lot of, you know, with a lot of issues. In Pelham, we know we have a lot of parking problems that have been exacerbated recently with the train and the new municipal building. And so I reached out to the company, this company called Circuit, and it's basically Uber-type vehicles, but with multiple passengers, more like a shuttle type of bus. So you can order it, but there's 5 individuals that are passengers in the vehicle at the time, and you can tell it where you want to be picked up and where you want to go. And so we got a proposal from Circuit, and it's a expensive, you know, at the outset it seems expensive, and it could cost the town money. However, there's a lot of variabilities. Right now they have a proposal, it's, I want to say, for 6 cars to cover the whole town of Pelham, it would cost us, I have it in here, but like $200,000.
For the year.
For the year, right? But that's,
It was over 300. It was
well,
something.
right, for the entire year, so half the year,
Yeah.
right, would be less, right? But however, that only is accounting for people charging just, paying $2 per fare. So if we have people paying $4 or $5 per fare, and if we limit it to 3 cars, and if we limit the space, which New Rochelle does not cover its entire city. They have very carved out areas where the van has the most high usage traffic use. And so we could easily cut back on the amount that might come out of our pocket. I think to potentially pretty low. And I mean, just in my
I
opinion,
mean,
I think
how
we
did, question.
Yeah.
If it's a senior,
yes,
okay, but the senior is not really very good at hiring an Uber because you have to do it here.
Yeah.
Is it a phone call or
No,
does it have to be managed on
it is an app.
It
But I'll
is.
tell you, I spoke with the New Rochelle person responsible for their program, and he said, I think he said 1/3 of the users are seniors going to the YMCA, going to, you know, shopping,
beach.
food shopping, and
The
the
beach.
beach,
Glen
and
Island.
they are all using the app because it's so easy to use. So we could do some trainings for people. We can come to the seniors here and show them how to use it and whatnot. He said, but it's a huge usage by their seniors. Another big use is by, people going to after-school activities. A big usage is by the high school. I envision here you have mainly train usage, but you have people going to activities all throughout town. You have people who want to go out on a night on the town and have some drinks and not worry about driving. And so I think there's a lot of usage. The proposal talks about we should consider a pilot, and that's what New Rochelle has done. That's how they roll it out, like a 6-month pilot. I think that's a little tricky if we're talking about budgeting potentially some money, but a 6-month pilot is pretty standard. And again, like I said, it could be tweaked, in various ways. Another piece of money that would sort of be offloaded from us is from advertising. And they gave an estimate from, sort of their typical ad funding that people receive.
Would it be our local businesses
I think it could be,
advertising on the cars?
yes, when I was talking to the New Rochelle, and we said local companies and businesses, and so perhaps we work with the chamber, and don't forget we have, Pelham Manor and all those stores down there, Dave & Buster's, that type of thing.
They have their own employees?
They- Correct, so it's their drivers, their insurance, their cars. The electric piece is we have to find parking for them.
That's the challenge.
But they do install the electric charging stations. And, you know, so when they're not using the cars, which is mostly overnight, people can use those chargers in the day. They're just the standard chargers, not Tesla, I
So
assume, but
the challenge is where we would park them and where would we set up the electric
Right.
charges. That's the challenge.
I have ideas on the parking. I have, you know, partnering with people that might want electric charging, you know, say the Country Club or Huguenot, they might want 2 charging stations for there. And we park it overnight, and then they can use it in the day. So, you know, it's a little hustle and community networking to see different options, but, of course, it'd be nice if the villages would consider, chipping in. It's a huge benefit, especially in Manor, people coming from there to the train station with limited parking around here.
Have we spoken to them?
Not yet. I wanted to bring it here first to get people's feeling on this. With that all said, the ambulance is our number one priority, and we're in no way, shape, or form going to be impeding that in any way. This would be, you know, potentially minimal. I'm hoping to see minimal funding needed, the way we can potentially work it down, so.
I think it's a good idea to try. I'm positive about it.
The manner when the 38 or 39 people got kicked out of permit holding,
Yes, right.
they sent out a survey to the Pelham Manor residents asking, what would you like us to do? I think I need to find out what that survey said.
Yeah.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting, it's very interesting. Whether we can find a space, which is not a bad idea, that you might go to the country club, or maybe even the school system that says,
Right,
you know.
right.
Because they have one, the school system has a charger in the new school,
Hutch?
yep, in their parking lot.
I didn't know that.
Maybe in the high school parking lot.
There's one in the high school?
No, add that, you know.
Right.
I'm
You
just
can
throwing
get
out
one,
places.
one at the high
No.
school, one at,
The only problem with those is that school doesn't have parking as it is.
yeah.
The high
No,
school.
The
I know.
the idea is, these are gonna be out and about all day. It's certainly, you could carve it out that they can't be parked, you know, during school
Yeah.
hours, right?
And
then
are
the
they willing
chargers
to
can,
share the electric?
they specifically said that could be like
Okay.
a tool you could use to
Market,
get partners
mhm.
to, you know, find a place to park, so.
I like the idea that it's kind of like, and it may sound sappy, it's a town-sponsored type of program for our residents. It's an added benefit to
Yeah.
them if they want to use it, rather than just using Uber or Lyft.
Yeah.
That's the reason I
Which
like
is
it.
very hard to get in Pelham.
Mm-hmm.
An Uber?
Yes.
Really?
And expensive, very expensive.
And very expensive. Somebody wanted to go from the train station to down by Grant, and it was like $35.
Oh
Oh my
my
God.
goodness.
That's ridiculous.
And we're talking about $4 or $5, you know, max.
Well, it used to be that if you would get a cab at the
Yeah,
station
cab.
for
Yeah.
$5.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
but they're no longer
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they
And
would.
then
So this is, again, filling another potential gap there, so.
We will keep you informed.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we'll be
good.
getting more information. I think we have to run some different proposals and numbers
Yeah.
to
I
get that
think-
figure
I
like
think
way
it's-
down.
I think it's back to the focus group idea too, of like, how many people would use this, who would be interested in
Yeah.
using it?
Yeah.
Because we're a town of roughly 13,000 people,
Mhm.
Norrichelle is 81,000 residents, so it's quite a big difference as far as like how many, and you said
Yes.
9,000 people of the 81,000 were using it, I think that was what I think that's what the
Yeah,
report
but
said.
they're carved out. If you can go on the website and you'll see the New Rochelle, there's a map. It's not the whole city.
Ah.
It's very carved out, like North Avenue and Main
shopping
Street.
area,
You know,
yeah.
So
And
it's
I-
not the whole
I
area.
think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea as like a way to get creative too, like if we want to do a pilot and for this, or even if we want to say to our seniors, because it seems like that's a
Right,
big audience.
exactly.
If we want to say, you know what, in addition to the senior van taking you to your doctor's appointments, maybe the senior van can do a loop and go to ShopRite or go, because if you live here on Fifth Avenue in Pelham, it's great, you can go down to the supermarket at Chico's and you know, it's easy walking. But if you live all the way on Boston Post Road, it's a little bit more challenging, you know, depending on your activity level. So maybe we can start out with, I'm just
Yeah,
saying, maybe
yeah,
this is
yeah.
it's a great idea,
Yeah.
and it could lead to other ideas, because we do have some resources, so. Like the energy efficiency of it is.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Comments? Public comment?
Oh, did you have old business?
Did you have something?
Old
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, you're old business, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to report that we, I worked with Philip, our popular facilities manager, and he got the estimates for the DASNY grant for the Draw and Cone Townhouse.
Oh, okay.
And so all that paperwork was submitted.
Great.
And I think this board has to have a bigger conversation though about the best case use of all of our buildings, specifically this, not the library, but this building and next door, because once the police department moves out, I think we need to really evaluate what should be happening, because we have to consider how the court's being used. We have to consider how the recreation program is used, the seniors use it, then the children's center. I know they're interested in expanding, that's a conversation. So I just feel like there's different stakeholders, there's the town administration, there's the tax, you know. So I think we should probably look at having a more comprehensive plan to move forward so that we're.
Well, we've talked a little about this already, more that the public-facing parts of this town are going to be downstairs in the police station because they have to be ADA available.
Right.
So the tax receiver, the assessor, anybody that deals with the public need will be moved down to the police station, because now we don't have to put an elevator out there and ruin the facade of the building, basically, and maybe take the money that we got as a grant for the elevator and use it to
Rehab?
downstairs.
Would you ever consider getting an architect to work with
Oh,
us?
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I know we have one
Definitely.
on
No, but
staff.
we would, even for Maura's thing with the townhouse, you would need an architect
Yeah.
Yeah.
in order to do it
Absolutely.
correctly, you
Yeah.
know?
And maximize use of space.
Yeah, well, a lot of architects do the space planning too with you, that
Right,
knowing what
exactly.
what your goal is for what you're putting there, so.
Right. And we want it to be welcoming, not have jails in it.
Well, I doubt we would put people in jail, Scara.
Come to my office in the jails.
Wait, hold on.
I've never seen the jail. I'll
I
have to take
haven't
a tour
either.
before, when they leave me.
Well, that's a good thing that you haven't seen the inside of the jail.
I agree.
That's like when I said I've never been in the court. Thank God I've never been in the court. Anyway, knock on wood. Any other comments
Thank
from the
you.
public? Yes.
Really quickly, Joanna from Senator Fernandez's office. We are going to be doing an end of session kind of wrap up very, very soon. I will let everyone know the date. It's probably going to be sometime in September or October, where the senator's going to be talking about what she did during the budget season, where the money was allocated, and how what the process will be for grants coming up later on in January. So
Let
I will
us-
send all that information to you guys when it's ready, and that's everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking about that, what's the date of our budget meeting? We should put it all on our calendar now.
October.
Yeah, I
12th?
think I have it.
It's October 13th.
At the 18th?
13th. It's a
Oh, that's a
Friday?
Would never be
No.
a Friday.
No.
October 12th, maybe.
It's usually like a
When is
Wednesday,
it?
right?
I have it on the 12th. on my
I have it on
calendar.
the 12th.
Yes, I have it on the 12th, it's a Thursday.
Yeah, October 12th. When we had the dates at our January meeting, I just put them all in my calendar.
Yeah,
Me too.
I do too.
Workshop is October 12th.
Okay.
Public hearing is December 4th. Adoption of the budget is the 18th. There's no opposition, the adoption will be on the 4th.
Okay, so everybody has that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a contract discussion that we need to have an executive session. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody,
Thank you.
and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanna.